Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to review yet another Microcenter Brand PowerSpec gaming computer, model number G156, and this will also apply to the model number G153, which are very similar in specs and same price point. But before that, please don't forget to subscribe down below and help me reach 1,000 subscribers, and thank you for watching. Okay, now let's go over the price and the specs of this G156. Now currently this PowerSpec is on sale for $449.99 at your local Microcenter, which makes it the cheapest gaming computer you could buy at that store. And to be honest, it's really not a bad deal for the specs that it comes with. Now the major difference between the G156, which I'm currently showing you here, and the G153 is the price. For some reason, the G153 is on sale for $529, and the only difference I really see is the name of the motherboards. They're both B360M series. The more expensive build, the G153, is a MSI brand. And here that I'm reviewing here right in front of you is a Asus Prime B360M, which in my opinion is a better motherboard. So I really don't see why the other desktop is noticeably more expensive. So if you were to choose, you definitely go for this one. Now let me go over the specs here. Both of these desktops are 8th gen i5 8400 processors, clocked at 2.8 gigahertz and turbo boost up to 4.1 gigs. They both come with the GTX 1050 Ti 4 gig VRAM. They both come with 4 gigabytes of DDR4 RAM, 2400 megs, and they both come with 16 gigabytes of Intel optane memory, and for the storage, 1 terabyte Western Digital mechanical drives. And they also have pretty decent Wi-Fi cards, which you can see underneath the graphics card. They are 5G compatible. It worked pretty well off the bat, no issues at all. And yeah, like I said, for this price point, these are not really bad specs at all. And also the good news is, as the new generation PowerSpecs are coming out, which are i5 9400Fs, they're gonna lower these prices even lower, I'm sure. Plus, if you check your local store, there'll be plenty of these in open box. So to me, if you get this PowerSpec somewhere between $350 and $400, somewhere around there after the discount of an open box, is definitely a good deal, especially if you're just trying to get into gaming on the cheap. This is definitely the best way to go. There's plenty of room to upgrade, because remember, these are all aftermarket parts that you can buy separately in your build your own section of the Microcenter. So in the future you could change the case. You definitely want to change the power supply. That's a bit disappointing. Both these models that I mentioned carry only a 400 watt power spec, which is bare minimum for this build, which is unfortunate. And also it only comes with 4 gigabytes of DDR4 or RAM, which I'm not sure why they did that, because to be honest, that's just not enough RAM off the bat to play modern games. So the other thing is, you might have to spend an extra 20 bucks for another stick of 4 gigs of RAM, which is pretty cheap nowadays, even at the store. So that's one thing you might have to do. And as I test out the gaming performance of this computer, I will install an 8 gig stick, because we just wouldn't be able to get a good testing with that. So that's pretty much the only two bad things, I think, is the power supply and the lack of the RAM on this. But again, if you get it at a good price, it's definitely worth it. Now let's take a closer look inside. Okay, now we're looking inside here. As you could see, that's the optane 16 gigs right there in the lower M.2 slot. That's the motherboard, Prime B360MA, and you have an additional M.2 slot. And looks like the CPU cooler is the Thermal Take brand that they usually sell separately for $10. Then you have your one stick of DDR4 RAM, which is only 4 gigs. Like I said, that's I'm not really sure what they were thinking, because you can't really game with that off the bat. That's why this will be a good deal if you get it at a real good price. That's your Wi-Fi card. And there's your 1 terabyte hard drive, and you have a second bay here. You could put an SSD drive, and you could fit another additional drive in between. And this is their cheap power supply, which they don't even sell this low wattage here, only 400. This they don't sell separate. I think the cheapest one they sell is a 430 watt. So I don't know where they got this. I guess they made this cheap specifically for this build, trying to cut some corners, but what can you do for the price point? And then you have an Asus DVD drive up on top. The wires is nothing fancy, you know, it's definitely not a show computer here. That's the wiring, that's how it looks. Not too good, but it's decent. I'm sure they bang these computers out real quick when they build them. And that's going to be your 1050 Ti, which is an Asus brand, very standard single fan, nothing too fancy. It does not require an additional 6-pin power. That's why they were able to get away with the 400 watt power supply. Yep, and that's pretty much it. Now all there is left to do is test this bad boy out and see how well it does in today's modern games. Stay tuned.
À l'immensité de l'univers, notre fourmi, notre cadavre, et pour ne pas me laisser abattre, je me disais, je suis aimé, je suis un tirailleur, et que Dieu nous aide.
got to Hope County. I can't believe what happened. They must have seen the train coming. I should have known better. Those fucking twins. My dad tried to fight. So they took him. Then they took the house. Don't do that again! They weren't their only victims. But my mom managed to bring survivors together and we all tried to build a place for us. There's a tunnel up there that leads to Hope County. The highwaymen are blocking our way in. We're gonna need some firepower. Let's keep moving. There's a workbench inside. You can use it to build a weapon. Rush was supposed to be the final piece so that we could finally fight back. And now, we're worse off than we were. I'm sorry, government people. And I promise I'll figure out a way to make this right. There's that workbench I told you about. Rush said you were resourceful, so let's build some. We don't stand a chance without a better weapon. Watch out for that angry critter!
Grab your gear. I'll secure the door.
Come on, Lily, that was my kill.
You gotta move a little faster, Walker.
Lily, closest thing I ever had to family. We grew up. On my way.
Close call.
Not at all.
Walker, we need you in the courtyard. Now!
We're on our way. Got Lily too.
Jersey's been deployed to warn you the settlements. They gotta know.
I guess this is big then.
Just snapped it on the comm box. This is the biggest attack they've ever seen. I'm serious.
Then let's go. We're gonna go earn us a glory ribbon.
Mom's expecting us in the courtyard. That's where the fighting is thickest. Big one!
What the? It's a ranger.
Not just any ranger. It's Jersey.
Holy shit! It took his whole head off.
Someone for Ranger Jersey.
It's all up to me now. I'm taking that armor.
You're gonna do it? Do it. Let's push these creep. It's back into the wasteland.
Shit, Mom's gonna skin you alive messing with Ranger gear.
But it's still got a lot of Jersey.
Lily, I need you in the garage. Walker, get your ass to the courtyard.
Go alone. On my way. Getting jealous, Lily?
Damn right I am. I would have been the youngest ranger to ever get sworn in. If not for this bullshit nanostrike crap.
Inbound.
The Academy about the Ranger armors? You can overdrive when it's charged, cut your enemy